For a kid growing up on a dairy farm in country Victoria, how important was footy to you?
Yeah, it's what I live for, I suppose. Milking the cows with Dad on a dairy farm in the Golden Valley area was one thing, but the love was football for sure. So to actually, I suppose, play senior footy at a young age at Waiai, and then to go down and play under Xavier Tanner, ex-North Melbourne premiership player at Shepparton, and then get drafted from there was an ultimate dream come true.
How young were you when you played senior footy at Waiai?
15, I think. I think they were asking me to play when I was 14, but Dad wouldn't let me play until I was 15. So he let me run around chasing cows and doing all the hard yards. But when it came to footy, he said I had to wait.
Did you learn a few things?
Yeah, definitely. I knew, and I suppose it was a great stepping stone for playing AFL football to play up against men and get smashed around. I mean, back in one of the minor leagues in country Victoria, Bacola League, to actually play against guys, men, and actually get whacked around, realised, and it was, as I said, it was a great stepping stone to actually get to AFL football down in Melbourne.
What did you think was possible? You didn't come through a traditional setup, you didn't play the underage footy. What did you think was possible when you got to the big league?
I definitely wasn't. I didn't think I had the greatest skills getting around, but I had a dream of actually playing AFL footy, and I would do anything I could to actually achieve that. And I was just wrapped to get one game, and if I got any more than that, I was over the moon. So to get 50 and then 100, and then I suppose when you got to 100 games, you actually thought, well, I could actually go on here and play a few more games. And the goal at that time was to actually play in premierships, and we played in 3 grand finals, and I was lucky enough to win 2. So that was the ultimate dream.
We'll get to those in a moment. So how significant was Dennis Pagan as a figure in your journey?
Yeah, I had some amazing coaches. I mean, Dennis in the under-19s when I went down, he was a very hard taskmaster. It was all zoned at that time in the Metropolitan, and you have the draft kids that come in, but then you'd have 100 kids come from the Metro, and all of a sudden that 100 would weed down to probably about 30, 40, and I was lucky one of the ones that was kept there. And but Dennis was very tough as an under-19s coach, but he knew when he eventually was as a senior coach that he had guys that were mentally strong, and he knew what button to push inside them. So, and I was one of those guys that he challenged. I didn't always agree with him, but in the end, he was come Monday, he was always right, and he normally got that button inside me pushed. So
it was a journey that you went on together, and there were near misses along the way. When you broke through in '96, what did that mean to a pretty close group?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, we got so close so many times leading into '96, but to play in the centenary grand final and to win that cup, but not only that, to actually play with the likes like the great mate Glenn Archer and Wayne Swass and guys like that who I come up through the under-19s was just awesome. And we were very close. We were probably recognised as the party boys a little bit, but in the end, we're actually great mates on and off the ground. And but we come to Monday, we knew what we had to do on a Monday, and that was train hard. And there was, we built a great culture without realising at the time, but we challenged each other to be the best that we could.
1999 is an incredible story. The week leading up, what was the injury from the preliminary final?
I had a crack in the heel and torn most of the ligaments in my ankle. So I think going on, the 2 club doctors we had at the time said that it was probably a 14-week to 16-week injury. But in the end, to Dennis's credit, he actually he said to me on the Monday, he said, "Son, if you can actually get up and train on the Thursday for 10 minutes, I'll give you every opportunity." And if it wasn't for my physios and the doctors and fitness guys, I wouldn't have made it. And eventually...
So what did you actually go... What did they put you through? What did you put yourself through?
I had Roger Moore mainly. 3 times a day I'd have physio, and he would massage my ankle, and my ankle was actually... it was black and blue right up to my knee. So, but the pain of actually him massaging the fluid out of my ankle was excruciating. And then walking down the water with Pete Mulcoons, who was a fitness guy at the time. And then Harry Leunglik to come to the Thursday night. We went into the, before doctors come full time, we had to go into the to Melbourne Sports Medicine Centre in the city and got a few jabs in the ankle. And by the time I actually got to the football club, I got out of the car and I couldn't feel my ankle hitting the ground. So.
And did you fall down in front of Dennis?
Well, Dennis pretty much summons Harry and myself into his office, and Dennis, being the so-called doctor that he is, he had a special test that he used to do, hopping from one side and up and down and backwards and around, and I was doing that okay, and all of a sudden my ankle gave way and I collapsed on the ground, and the look on Dennis and Harry's face was pretty funny at the time, but pretty much I thought my grand final was over. But Dennis, to his word, he actually said, "You got 10 minutes to prove to me out on the ground, on the training track, and if you can get 10 minutes, I'll play you." And he lived up to that, and I lasted 10 minutes. And he said, "Go and have a kick for goal, have 5 shots," and I had probably 5 shots and only went about 20-30 metres, and the rest is history.
So you played, and it turned out by the end of it, your foot and your ankle were the least of your worries.
Yeah, well, I got halfway through the second quarter, and I went to tackle Brett Ratton, and he darted at the last minute, and I put all my force into it and tore the pec muscle off the bone in my shoulder. So that kind of pretty much finished me for the rest of the game. But I went in halfway through the second quarter, getting some more jabs in the shoulder, trying to numb that. That didn't work. But at half time, pretty much they forgot about my ankle. So I went back on the ground and chased Scotty Camperelli around and didn't get near the ball, couldn't touch anyone. My ankle started getting sore, and I pretty much come off probably halfway through the third quarter.
You got the second medallion out of that extraordinary tale. Was it worth it?
Oh, well and truly. We all play footy, and it's a dream come true to play in the AFL Grand Final. So leading into it, I was nervous as hell going into the game. Didn't think I'd actually get through the game, and I did. And another injury got me, but to actually hold that cup up and get a medallion is a dream come true again. To have 2 of them. Goody's team got us the year before, but we got one back, and to have 2 premierships is fantastic.
You became captain in circumstances that nobody could ever have imagined or wished for. It was a time when human nature might have been to step into the background, and yet you answered the call to lead. Did you have any reluctance taking on the captaincy?
Oh, definitely. I think Dennis asked me probably 2 or 3 times, and I pretty much declined it. But with the circumstance that was happening at that time, I had to really concentrate on getting my life back on track. But eventually it was probably my dad, and who's sitting over there, and Ron Joseph, my manager at the time, that talked me into it. And it was actually a great distraction from my personal life to concentrate on pretty much getting the football club back off its knees and up and going, and to prove a lot of people wrong, and bring that shinboner spirit that we talk about out. And we actually found not one captain myself, we probably found 10 or 20 captains, and the guys like Arch and Colby, who's sitting over there, and David King and John Blakey, another amazing guy, just really stood up. And we had an amazing year, especially the way we started. So
that night was such an incredible night at Footy Park. Glenn's 200th, he kicks the winning goal, and there the 2 of you are at the end.
Yeah, it was to have Arch plays, I think, 250th or 200th that night, to win the winning goal as well. It was just absolutely amazing, and I don't think the song's ever been sung so loud at North Melbourne Football Club. We were very proud men, and we were very close, and the bond for that year really kind of brought us in tight, and we were happy with our season. We're on our hands and knees at football club, but we got up off the deck and showed the shinboner spirit, and still lives today.
And you led them to it. Anthony, maybe a few thank yous to finish.
Can I just grab a water? Sorry guys, when I get a bit nervous I get a bit dry in the mouth. I'll just make a couple of dot points, but firstly I just want to thank my mum and dad for everything they've done. They've been absolutely amazing. We've got 5 children in our family, and pretty much on some weekends they would actually probably drive to 5 different destinations to watch my brothers and myself and my sister play netball and football, and I can't thank you enough for your life experiences and being there for me, and appreciate everything you're doing for me even now. It's I love you both to death, and I look forward to many fond memories going forward. To my 2 amazing children, I've got my little boy River and my daughter Ava, who is 16, and she's a stunning little lady, and I adore both of you and love you very much, and thanks for coming tonight and sharing a part of this. Thanks guys. On my table I've actually decided to bring people that actually mean a hell of a lot to me in my football career, and I'll talk about me coaches first. Dennis Pagan sitting over on the table. I'd like to thank you, Dennis, for everything that you've done for me over the years. One of the biggest things you've been able to teach me is the morals, and I suppose the upbringing and being a real man in life, and everything you've done. And as I said before, you knew what button to push into me, and if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have been the player I was. But thanks very much. Another guy I'd love to say thank you is Wayne Schimmelbusch, who was one of my first coaches. Shimmer, I had you for 3 years, but you taught me a hell of a lot in that period of time. And one of the first things you said to me is that you remind me a hell of a lot of him. And in the end, for the first 3 years, 3 years that he was my coach, he actually would call me in the office and have a chat on a weekly basis about how I can actually improve my football. And I appreciate everything there, Shimmer. To a couple of the boys, Arch. As I've said many times, mate, I love you like a brother. You've been through thick and thin with me, and I appreciate everything you've done. Another guy, Lee Colbert's been the same. Colby, your mateship and friendship, and he's been sitting there staring the hell out of me because he knew I would be as nervous as hell tonight, and he was right. And I want to thank you for everything you've done as well. And one guy I wish was here was John Blakey. I knew I wouldn't get him out of Sydney, so I didn't invite him, but he's up coaching with Johnny Longmire, so I wish you were here, Blakes, and celebrating me. You were a great mentor and role model for me, and I took so much just watching you, and I don't think it'll be far away before you're actually in this group, mate, as well. So I'd just like to say a huge thanks to all my ex-teammates. They're absolutely amazing, and if it wasn't for those guys, then I wouldn't have been able to play in premierships and play in grand finals, and I appreciate everything, all players that I played with over the period of time I've done. I have a couple of guys there, Jeff Walsh and Mick Kennedy, 2 guys that I wanted here tonight based on their mateship and friendship and guidance over many years, over 16 years at North Melbourne. So really appreciate everything you've done for me, guys, and our friendship's very strong, and we've had some funny times, especially Mick, who was always our chaperone on our footy trips. I reckon you should get the footy trip back down at North Melbourne, Brad. So, but I appreciate everything you've done, and Walshy allowing us to go on the footy trips. But your guidance and support over the years is absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I do have is a huge love for the North Melbourne Football Club. When I was 17, I got drafted down there. I was a mad Collingwood supporter, can't stand them now. But in the end, to go to North Melbourne and actually to go to the grassroots of VFL, AFL football was where I needed to go, and that was North Melbourne Football Club. The club is an amazing club, and we talk about this shin-bone spirit, but it's well and alive down there. I've spent the last 12 months at North Melbourne, and I've seen the track that we're on. We're on the right track. We're going places. The club is in the best position it's ever been, backed by the board, which Glenn's on, and Carl Delina. James Brayshaw, thank you for everything you've done over the period. It's absolutely been amazing. It's truly amazing. And one guy I haven't mentioned yet, and it's probably one of the reasons that I've been inducted tonight, is Mark Brayshaw, Sticks. Thanks for doing the video, mate. when you first got drafted as a big surly centre-half back like Ross Glendenning, and then you turned up this wimpy little, scrawny little centre-half back. I ended up living with him for about, I think, 12 months and learned a hell of a lot and become great mates and still great mates. So, excuse me. Back to the club. I just want to. There's an amazing group of guys over the period of the 90s. A guy called Deb Orvelin, who was our property steward. And then we had Macca and Skull, who are no longer with us. The trainers, absolutely unbelievable guys, and I miss the hell out of them. We go on to some of the supporters that were around at that time. Janet, Carly, and Jodie Fox were. You know, I could just sum up some of the people that just get around the footy club, and that's why football clubs in the AFL, VFL are so special, and it's people like those guys. Another guy, Lance Williams, that's still at the football club, just being around and being supportive, and he was another one of our chaperones on our footy trips. Just like to thank everyone at the football club that has contributed to North Melbourne, but also to my footy career over 15 years. So thanks, guys. And I suppose the biggest thing is supporters. If we didn't have supporters, then we wouldn't have this great game. And, we've got some of the most amazing supporters. There's a lot of football clubs out there. We've got some fickle supporters, but not North Melbourne. Our supporters are staunch and they stick by the football club. And we're only getting stronger and stronger. The last thing I'll just finish off, one of our greats, Max Stone, passed away during the week. Maxie was our doorman over many, many years, and I just want to say that to the family, Maxie's family, that we're all thinking of you and the whole North Melbourne football community is. So thanks, Max. Live in peace, mate, and we'll see you soon.